This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zio to Hero, the podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales, the place you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by a host, me, Tai Tiger. Today we're diving back into Power Rangers Universe 113. The very first story I ever written came from the universe, Power Rangers Future Foundation, and that's exactly the story we're diving into today. Today we're diving into Power Rangers Future Foundation as all the Rangers seem to be plopping up in random peculiar universes due to the fact that CJ tinkered with a dimensional portal device. It exploded and all our Rangers are now thrown everywhere. So that being said, let's find out what happened to Amy.
Welcome to Universe 113, a place where an old evil has continued its quest for ultimate power, starting by kidnapping previous Rangers and stealing their powers. But not all is lost, as a new generation of Rangers is born, bringing new life to the legendary powers that came before them. They are the new heroes of Earth. They are Power Rangers Future Foundation.
Power Rangers Future Foundation, Chapter 34. Amy lost in Universe 19. Amy woke up and climbed out of a ditch. She dusted herself off, and then she noticed the high school before her. She walked towards the building and noticed that it was empty. She walked around and found one of the doors open. She walked in and trod the hallways. Then she approached the trophy cabinet. She gazed across the trophies in the winning photos, and then she noticed a few faces she recognized. There's a picture of Xander, but not her Xander. This Xander looked like the one from Universe 19, holding a martial arts trophy. And Izzy and Ruthie holding a big piece of art, and Justin with an old bus, holding a certificate for mechanics. Maybe I'm in Universe 19 now, Amy muttered. She walked out of the school building and then pressed her communicator. Hello? Anybody there? Amy said. She was met with a couple seconds of static, then all of a sudden someone responded. Hello? Anyone there? A familiar voice called out. Haley, is that you? Amy yelled. Yeah, Amy, what are you doing on our wavelength? Haley asked. I think I'm in your Universe 19. Amy sighed. Wait, how? I mean, you would have to be to tap into our communicators, but how? Haley asked. I don't know. Portal device exploded, I think, Amy muttered. Okay, look, we aren't actually in town right now. We are having a little getaway training session with the Ultra Rangers, Haley said. Well, I'm in Blessington, but I can wait, Amy said sweetly. Mind if I butt in here? Violet chimed in. Hey, Violet, Amy said. Hey, Amy. So you're in Blessington, right? Violet asked. Correct, Amy nodded. Okay, listen. You can't just sit around and wait for help. It's not safe, but I do have a friend that you can hang out with. Her protector can look after you if needs be, Violet told her. Okay, sure, thanks, Amy replied. I'll give her a call, Violet said. Then there was a stumbling noise. Okay, well, if you need us, give us a shout. Sorry, you can't be much more help, Haley muttered. No problem, you've been great so far, Amy said. Amy then sat on the stone steps and waited for Violet's friend, when suddenly a woman came walking past. The person stopped and clocked Amy. The woman was a beautiful blonde with purple top and a pair of jeans. Are you okay there, honey? The woman asked. Yeah, I'm just waiting for a friend, Amy responded. The woman stared at her, which gave her the creeps. I'd love to be your friend, the woman said. She advanced up to the steps and Amy tried to move, but her body would not let her. She was stuck on the spot. She sat on the step and the woman came and sat next to her. She looked deeply into her eyes. Amy watched as this woman bared sharp fangs and her eyes flashed red. Then suddenly the woman took a deep breath and Amy could feel her energy wavering. She suddenly felt really tired. Her body became heavy, her eyes wanted to close, but she tried to fight it. She tried to move, but nothing happened. Penny sat there colouring, when suddenly the home phone started ringing. She got up, ran downstairs and grabbed the phone and answered it. Hello, Sean's Fruit and Veg, Penny answered. Hey, it's Violet, a voice replied. Oh, hey, Vi, you never call the house phone. What's up? Penny replied. I need a favour, had to be quick, can't be traced, Violet replied. Then Violet explained the whole scenario. A fellow ranger from another universe had somehow managed to get stranded in their universe, but the Cyberforce Rangers were out of town, in a secret location, so this Amy girl was now stuck and was waiting at the school with no place to go. Yeah, it's fine, me and Shinzo can go get her now, Penny responded. Thank you so much, Violet said. Penny hung up the phone, ran into the garden, and there she found Shinzo and Sean, their housekeeper. Hey Penny, what's going on? Shinzo said. We need to pick up a rogue ranger from a different universe that's currently sat at the school. Penny said, like it was a normal thing to say. Shinzo looked at Sean with a raised eyebrow. Sean just shrugged his shoulders. Shinzo then rolled his eyes and whistled a long, high-pitched whistle, and Komori, a small mecha-like bat, came flying up the top window of the house and flew down and hovered there, flapping his little wings. What? The bat barked. Get in the bag. We got going. Shinzo grunted. The bat let out a huff and then flew into Shinzo's side bag. Shinzo then closed the clasp, locking him in. Seeing the guys in a bit then. Sean smiled. Shinzo let out a small chuckle, and Penny and him left the garden and headed for the school. They walked up and they could see a blonde-haired woman talking to a girl with a unique and outstanding dress sense. Shinzo, Penny said harshly as they kept walking up to them. Yeah, what? Shinzo said in a hushed voice. The blonde is a Fangire, the girl is our Power Ranger. Penny barked as she could see the energy of the Fangires, a soul-sucking vampire-like race from the Blood Realm, Penny's home realm, which she was the princess and is destined to lead. Shinzo's half Fangire and half human. The Fangires had a red aura in Penny's eyes, and Power Rangers had a green aura. Stay back, Shinzo ordered and ran on ahead. He jumped up and with a flip he landed on the steps, grabbed the blonde woman and threw her down to the ground. She crashed into the gravel and stood growling. Shinzo turned to the young teen, who was now unconscious, but she was still breathing. How dare you! The woman hissed. Shinzo turned to the woman and opened his side bag and Komori flew out of it, hovered next to his partner. So, who's this crazy chick? Komori asked in a sarcastic tone. Our new target, Shinzo snapped as he stepped off the steps. Oh, goody, action! Komori cheered as he dived at Shinzo.
Shinzo grabbed Komori with his right hand. Bite! Komori yelled out, and then Komori was brought to Shinzo's left hand and Komori sunk his teeth into Shinzo's skin. Black veins rippled up his arm and across his face. Suddenly, magic chains formed around his waist and formed into a red and gold henshin belt. The belt was all red and had a metal rod above the waistline. Shinzo held out Komori. Henshin! Shinzo called out and placed Komori up to the rod of the belt. With his little claws, he latched on, and then Shinzo placed Komori onto the belt, clipped him in upside down. Suddenly, metal liquid formed around Shinzo. And then, with a shatter of glass, the liquid formed into his rider suit, forming Kamen Rider Kiva.
Kamen Rider Kiva ran at the woman, who, in a glimmer of red, transformed into her true form, a humanoid owl with piercing eyes, very big round eyes. The owl Fangire waved her arms and shot several brown bladed feathers at Kiva. He rolled forward, dodging the incoming fire. Kiva uppercut the Fangire, then spun around and kicked it in the stomach. He grabbed onto the owl monster, but with two big beams firing from its eyes, it struck the Kamen Rider. Sparks flew off of him as he was thrown off his feet. As the fight pursued, Penny ran up the steps and checked on the new girl. She grunted as she woke up. Hey there, easy. You've just been soul drained. Luckily we caught you. Fangires have a knack for Power Rangers. Penny told her as she pulled her up. Thanks. Amy grunted as she sat up. She held her head as she felt her brain was spinning inside of her skull. Are you okay? Penny asked. Yeah, I'm guessing you're Penny, but what on earth is that? Amy asked, pointing to the Kamen Rider Kiva fighting the Owl Fangire. Monster, that's Kamen Rider Kiva, Penny told her. Kamen Rider? Amy repeated, confused. You don't know what that is? Penny asked her. No, Amy said, shaking her head. They're like heroes, similar to Power Rangers, but they don't use the morphing grid. They use a strong, potent magic, sometimes power systems. Kiva's half Fangire. The little bat thing on his belt is tapped into some dark soul-linked magic. Add some mumbo-jumbo that no one gets, and boom, Kamen Riders. Penny explained. I wonder if there's a Kamen Rider in my universe, Amy muttered. They sat and watched as Kamen Rider Kiva jumped up and double-kicked the Fangire in the chest. Then the Owl Fangire summoned its big wings and took flight. The owl then rained down several feathers. The feathers landed on the gravel and they all exploded, sending Kiva off his feet. The Owl Fangire then flew off out of sight. Kiva stood and demorphed. Shinzo gripped his arm as he walked over to the two girls. Hey, thanks for the save. I'm Amy, Amy said. Shinzo, no worries. Not every day you get to save a Power Ranger from another universe, Shinzo grunted. Yeah, that's true, Amy nodded. Then Penny helped Amy to her feet. Amy wobbled on the spot a little bit. Penny held her up, supporting her. Come on, we better get her back to the house so she can sleep off the side effects, Shinzo told her. Then Shinzo picked up Amy, who tried her best to keep her eyes open. Shinzo carried her back to the house, laid her down on Penny's bed, and Amy fell straight to sleep. She slept for 8 hours, and woke up when it was dark outside. She felt a lot better. Her nap had re-energized her completely. She jumped out of bed and headed downstairs, and found Penny and Shinzo talking to some older man. All I'm saying is, it shifted into its true form. It's now going to be desperate, and I should be able to find it, Shinzo told them. Maybe I can help, Amy said, chiming in, announcing her existence to the room. Everyone turned to Amy, who walked in all shyly. Sean, Amy, Sean, Shinzo introduced the two together. Hello there, Sean said with a nod. Amy gave him a little wave. Amy, I cannot ask you to help. It's my problem, Shinzo told her. Hey, you guys carried me here, let me sleep here, and that's on top of saving me from that owl thingy, Amy replied. Shinzo looked at Penny and Sean. Hey, who am I gonna say no? You actually get some backup for once, Sean said. Thank you, Amy. Very thoughtful, Penny grinned. Lead the way, Amy said to Shinzo. Shinzo nodded and grabbed his side bag, then the pair of them bolted off and ran into Blessington. So these Vanguard things, you're half of one? Amy asked as they jogged through town. Yep, half-blood bastard shunned for things that has no control, Shinzo replied. Then they both looked up to the sky and they saw the Alfangai circling the fountain. The two of them saw a couple sat at the fountain, being all romantic. Let's go, Shinzo barked. I'm right behind you, Amy chirped. The Alfangai swooped down and tried to grab onto the couple. Shinzo opened his side bag and Komori flew out of it. Yeah, I'm awake. Come on, let's get this over with, Komori grunted. Both of them stopped as the Owl Fangar swooped in. Amy picked up an empty can and chucked it and bounced off the Fangar's head. The couple ran off out of sight, clearing the way for Shinzo and Amy. You ready? Shinzo asked. Amy nodded. You'll pay for that, the Owl Fangar barked as it landed on the ground.
Shinzo grabbed Komori with his right hand. Bite! Komori yelled out, and then Komori was brought to Shinzo's left hand and Komori sunk his teeth into Shinzo's skin. Black veins rippled up his arm and across his face. Suddenly, magic chains formed around his waist and formed into a red and gold henshin belt. The belt was all red and had a metal rod above the waistline. Shinzo held out Komori. Henshin! Shinzo called out and placed Komori up to the rod of the belt. With his little claws, he latched on, and then Shinzo placed Komori onto the belt, clipped him in upside down. Suddenly, metal liquid formed around Shinzo. And then, with a shatter of glass, the liquid formed into his rider suit, forming Kamen Rider Kiva.
Amy revealed her Astromorpher and flipped it open. She then pressed the 3-button code sequence. Then, in a flash of light, she morphed into the pink In-Space Ranger. The Alfangar let out a big cackle. I'll feed off you and finish you in a minute, the Fangai barked. The Fangai ran at the Kamen Rider and the Pink Ranger. It threw both fists out and smacked both of them. Then the Pink Ranger kicked the Fangai in the chest, then punched it several times before pulling out her sidearm blaster and started firing at the Alfangai. The monster stumbled back in time as Kamen Rider Kiva slid into the fray, popped the monster up into the air with a double kick. Then Kiva stood there and suddenly red mist filled the area. The sky went black and a blood moon appeared in the sky. Komori detached from the belt and flew up into the air. Kiva jumped high into the air, joining him. Komori struck the chains of his left armored leg, breaking them. The wings opened up and revealed red armor underneath with a green gemstone in the middle. Kiva then flew down, aiming his winged leg at the Fangai. He landed on the Fangai, crushing him into the floor. Then the In-Space Pink Ranger jumped up, flipping over the two, and rained energy blasts upon the monster. A bat symbol formed on the ground underneath the Fangai. The Fangai shattered into millions of pieces. The Alfangai was no more. Its soul flew off into the sky, and Cursor, the prison dragon, ate it whole, sealing the soul inside of its stomach for safekeeping. Where did that go? The Pink Ranger asked as the sky turned back to normal. Yeah, I'm not explaining that one, Kiva responded with a slight chuckle. Both the Ranger and the Kamen Rider both demorphed. Honestly, that might be the quickest I've ever taken out a Fangar. Thank you, Amy, Shinzo cheered. Thank you, Amy said with a smile. The duo walked back to the house. Komori flew overhead. Then they walked in to find Penny and Sean preparing food. Hey, did you get it? Penny asked. Of course we did, Amy said with a cocky smile. She's actually a very big help, Shinzo stated. Well, we made homemade pizza and potato salad, Sean called out. Everyone gathered around the table and they all started eating. Penny explained her being the princess of the Blood Realm. Amy explained the Future Foundation. They all ate and ate until they were full and couldn't eat another bite, when suddenly Amy's communicator started beeping. Sorry guys, hang on, Amy muttered and answered the call. Amy, hey, so the Ultra Rangers here. They got in touch with one of their contacts, Universe 113, and someone is on their way to send you home, Haley told her. Oh my god, thank you so much, Amy blurted. No worries, anytime. Just get home safe, okay? Haley replied. Yeah, I will, thanks again, Amy said, and then she hung up the call. She turned to the others in the room. So apparently I'm headed home, Amy said with a smile. Everyone cheered, and then suddenly the door knocked. Sean stood up and walked to answer the door. Oh, hello there, I'm Sean, come on in, Sean said. Why, thank you, a woman's voice replied. Sean walked in with a black-skinned woman. Hello, Amy, I'm Aisha, the purple Ultra Ranger from this universe, the woman told her. Well, you guys just come out with all sorts of colours now, don't you? Gold, why not purple? Amy chuckled. I'm here to collect you and get you back home. I'm collecting all the Future Foundation. Who knew one of them would actually turn up in my home? Aisha said with a smile. Well, it was a pleasure, you guys. Thank you so much for saving my ass. Amy grinned. The pleasure was all ours. For a 15-year-old girl, you hold grace and knowledge, Sean said with a bow. Shinzo walked up to Amy and they hugged. Thanks, little one, for the save. If you need any help, let me know, Shinzo told her. Wow, thanks, but you actually saved me first, so I guess we're even? And yeah, that's cool, Amy grinned. Then Penny handed Amy a data drive. This one will link the communicators to us, so if you ever need Shinzo for anything, you can always get some help. Then, when you went out with Shinzo, I contacted one of my followers in the Blood Realm. They're gonna go check on Universe 113 for Kamen Riders. When they find anything, they'll come to you, so be expecting someone from the Blood Realm to contact you, Penny told her. Oh wow, Penny, that's awesome, thank you. Yes, the Kamen Riders interest me, Amy grinned. Then she took the data drive and she hugged Penny. Then she walked up to Aisha. Okay, Purple, lead the way, Amy grinned. Then Aisha waved to the group and led Amy outside. Aisha opened a portal and both of them walked through it. Amy left the Kamen Rider Kiva and his team in Universe 19, and she headed back to Universe 113. And there you have it, guys. Another installment to our little multiversal arc here. Kamen Rider Kiva is actually an adaptation storyline of mine where I'm adapting Kamen Rider Kiva into a more European sort of sense on not only Tiger Tales but the Power Rangers Universe 19 podcast. Written and read to you by Cosmo267, you'll find plenty of Power Rangers and Kamen Rider storylines there, so make sure you go check it out everywhere that you can listen to your podcasts. You'll also find another storyline of mine which is Power Ranger related. That being said, make sure you check out the third member of the Three Ranger Bros, mine being one of them, Cosmo267 being the second, and our third member is Mark the Red Chorus Ranger. Make sure you check out his podcast, Nerds Through Comics, where he has his own Power Rangers Universe 20, which we saw Leo in. And then, make sure you listen to the rest of his stuff, because he's adapting comic books into audio dramas. That being said, make sure you check out the Zero to Hero community, make sure you check out the If You Did Give a Dad a podcast, and make sure you check out the Author's Crown YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, because there's also other Tiger Tales channels that you can also check out as well. Tiger Tales The Lost Stories, Tiger Tales Game Over, and Tiger Tales The Mysterious Origins. There are 3 other places you guys can listen to more fanfictions and stories. Each channel is made to separate the style of writing and the way that they're presented. That being said, thank you everyone for listening, and of course I shall see you real soon.